Hello chess family, it's me National Master Jesse James, and today we're going to be adding to our Play the Accelerated Dragon series. On this one, we're going to be going over a sideline, the knight to d to e2 variation. A very weird one, and actually one of my favorites I like to play as white. Let's go ahead and take a look. We start with e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes, knight takes, pawn to g6, our beloved Accelerated Dragon, knight c3, bishop g7, and this is where, all the lines happen here. Typically, white does play bishop to e3 to defend right here, but here we're going to be seeing the interesting idea of knight d to e2. Well, that's a very strange move. What's the idea? Just remember, whenever you have more space in chess, as white does right now, you don't want to make trades. So that's the simple idea. White stops the trade from happening, and it's hoping to get a positional bind in the game. With that being said, black is already equal, if not better, in these kind of positions. So, well, let's go and take a look on how we should attack this. Here we go. We go ahead and play knight to f6, going ahead and keeping up the development. Pawn g3, they typically go ahead and fianchetto as the knight is in the way of the bishop. It's also known as the double fianchettos. Pawn to d5 gets played here, and well, e takes on d5. Now here, this does give white a +1 position, but here with accurate play for black, you can get a good attacking chances. Here we go. Black plays knight to b4, putting pressure on the d5 pawn right here, and also on c2, which is important. Bishop g2 gets played, trying to hold down the pawn. If you can hold on to this pawn, well, then you're going to be able to hold your advantage. If you lose this pawn, equality comes. With that being said, black breaks through and should have a little bit more attacking chances. All right, here we go. Let's develop with a threat. Bishop to f5 gets played, putting pressure on the c2 pawn and a nice little tempo over here. And, well, white goes ahead and plays knight to d4 here. Looks like just the perfect move here, as it's going ahead and attacking the bishop and defending the c2 pawn. Okay, bishop to g4 gets played. Again, a nice little tempo on the queen here. And here the queen must go to d2. Why is this? Well, if anything else, you're just going to be putting yourself into a worse position. For instance, if you play something like pawn to f3, you have now blocked the pawn that is defending this bit. You have now blocked the bishop, which is defending the pawn here on d5. So here black simply plays bishop d7, and black is already a little bit better here. Pawn to f4, the same thing can happen with bishop g4, although computers are already liking queen b6 for lots of tactical ideas. Remember, taking on d4 is very good. With that being said, there really is nothing else. Do you want to play the knight back to e2? Here, black can go bishop to f5 and say, you know what, you got to prove to me that there's something better to play in this position. So, well, they go ahead and play this move of queen to d2 instead. This is one of the only ways to move forward. And here we can keep up our attack. Knight takes on d5. Knight takes on d5, knight takes on d5, and here knight to b5, going for a tactical trick here. Here we see the queen takes d5, bishop takes d5, and maybe even knight to c7 tactics later on. But here black has a very surprising move that is able to give a very good attacking chances. Black to move, what do you play? Here you get to play queen to b6 exclam. A very surprising move here that, well, actually keeps the game pretty fun. Okay, here white went ahead and castled. Okay, we got to ask, what's going on? Why can't we take on d5 here? Well, you have to take on d5. You have to do it very good. Here, after queen takes on d5, black simply goes rook to d8. And uh-oh, now you see rook to d1 check is not going to be too good for you. Okay, what about bishop takes on d5? Simple chess. Now you get to play queen takes on b5, and rook to d8 is coming in the future. Already black is in that better position. That's why in the game, white just went ahead and castled here, as that's probably the best thing they could do. Alright, so queen b6, castles. Now we can look about taking on d5 as well. Rook to d8 will no longer be checkmate. Knight back to f6, we're not going to be trading off for this bad knight. Pawn to a4, castles, kingside. And now I believe black is just having a good game here. Although computer is giving this as a +1 advantage, I think you'd have to really know this kind of position to say, I think this is much better. I think this black is just doing okay here. All right, queen to e3, bishop d7, knight c3, queen to b4, queen to f4. Of course, white's trying to make some trades here. Black is trying to put pressure on b2 to not let this bishop out. And here black goes ahead and plays pawn to a5, a move I very much like. Here you definitely do not want to trade, as after a takes b4, once the knight moves, you got this backwards pawn, and we're going to be putting lots of pressure on it. The game was actually pretty fun here. Rook to a3, bishop b6, stopping the rook to b3 idea. Queen f3, rook over to d8. Here black's development is just doing great here. Knight to a2, trying to force this queen away. Queen over to c4, pawn over to c3, and you know things have gone bad when look at these pieces. They're just, pawn structure is terrible, and these pieces are just badly placed, and this one's not even developed over here. Knight to g4, pawn h3, knight to e5, a nice little tempo on the queen. Queen takes on b7 finally. Queen to e2 here, and black is just taking away all these light squares. Oof. Bishop to f4 got tried. Rook over to d7, queen over to b5, again saying, please can we trade? Of course, black says no to this. Bishop c4, all these juicy squares here. Queen back to b6, and knight to f3 check. At this point, it was just a -8 in this kind of position. Here, you're going to be forced to be trading off. So bishop takes, queen takes on f1. Notice that if you try to play something else, like, I don't know, queen over to h1, it is king over to h1, it is now forced checkmate. Rook over to d1, and the back rank checkmate will work. That's why bishop takes f3 had to be played. Queen takes on f1 check, king h2. Black just has a huge big lead as far as material goes. Bishop to d4. Look at that beautiful deflection over here. And here the idea was to play queen takes on f2, but we couldn't because the queen was defending. So bishop d4 gets played. Of course, pawn takes, queen takes f2 check, king to h1. Rook takes on d4. You can also play the queen takes on you can also look at the queen takes f3 ideas, but unfortunately the rook is defending over here. So rook takes on d4 now threatens rook d1 check, and this will be winning the queen. Queen over to c6 here, defending the bishop, and also the bishop is defending from the rook to d2. But here it's -15. Rook f to d8 was a move, but here bishop d5 got played again, deflecting over here. Queen takes on d5 as there was nothing better. If bishop takes, then we could play the rook to d1 again for checkmate. So queen took on d5. Rook takes on d5. Bishop takes on d5. Rook to d8. Bishop f3. Pawn to e5. My gosh, this guy is just deflecting everything. Bishop to g5. Pawn to e4. Bishop g4. Rook to d3. Here, although the pieces should look like they can beat the queen, they are just too unorganized, and the king is just too vulnerable. Rook over to c3, h5, rook takes, pawn takes. Now this passed pawn is just a winner. Bishop to d7, queen f3 check, queen to d5, and here, well, just ending with a simple fork here, attacking the bishop, both bishops over here on g5 and on d7. Remember, guys, this was in case they do play the knight to d to e2 variation. This is a very interesting idea with playing this idea of pawn to d5. So this is after knight takes d4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, knight dd2, knight to f6, g3, playing a quick to d5 over here. Again, the theory is a little rough at first, but I guarantee you, you will enjoy this line as you're just going to be getting very good games against white. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this, please go ahead and give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.